Today we'll be looking at two different stories. One about how Pfizer, a major pharma company, used Nigerian children as guinea pigs. And the other is about how the Namibian government sterilized its own women. So if you're interested in stories like this, kindly ensure to watch the video to the end so you can get the full gist. Also, remember to like and subscribe to my channel, as this personally helps me know if I'm doing things right. So let's move into today's video. In 1996, the city of Kano, Nigeria was under siege, and that's not by war, but a very vicious epidemic of bacterial meningitis. Meningitis is an infection of the covering layers of the brain, and it is one of the most deadliest and the most volatile disease the human body can experience. In Kano, over 11,000 people had died at this point, and in just a few months, so many people are in real trouble. Desperate parents streamed into overflowing hospitals, with some carrying their favorite child. And now, amid this whole chaos, an American pharmaceutical company named Pfizer came around. To so many people, they were here to help. But to Pfizer, it was an opportunity. Pfizer is one of the world's most powerful drug companies in the world. Having previously developed major medications and drugs such as sildenafil and atorvastatin, and also considering this company is a billion-dollar company, Pfizer at this point was a known, recognized, respected industry leader when it comes to pharmaceutical breakthrough. In Kano, Pfizer dispatched a team of doctors with a very radical plan, which is test a new antibiotics, which is called trovofloxacin. It was marketed as Trovan at this point. And at that time, Trovan had never been tested on any child with meningitis. But in the eyes of Pfizer executives, this epidemic offered a perfect, urgent, and cost-effective way to prove that these drugs don't just work, but it is significantly better than the conventional drug used for treating meningitis, which is ceftriaxone. Pfizer doctors arrived at the infectious disease hospital in Kano with supplies of Trovan and the older antibiotics, ceftriaxone. Partnering with doctors in Nigeria, they were able to enroll over 200 children into the study. The way this worked is, they had two sample groups, with half receiving Trovan and the rest receiving ceftriaxone. Now, the problem is, for many families, the details of this study were never explained. Consent forms were hastily signed, and in some cases, illiterate parents were only told to thumbprint without translation or adequate disclosure of the potential risk of this drug on their children. Now, what followed was a total nightmare. Nigerian children of some of the most poorest individuals in the world, started experiencing severe side effects. It was really bad. It was later revealed that Pfizer didn't just give some children Trovan, which is their own drug, but they also gave the other group, which are meant to receive ceftriaxone, a dangerously low dose of ceftriaxone, which allegedly is to make Trovan look more effective by comparison. In the end, at least 11 children had died. Dozens suffered permanent disabilities, including blindness, deafness, brain damage, and paralysis. When the news of the whole trial emerged, it sent shockwaves across Nigeria and the world. Investigations by journalists, humanitarian groups, and the Nigerian government revealed a really bad thing. At that time, Pfizer had neither obtained proper regulatory approval for the trial and had totally failed to follow ethical protocols. The families of the victims, supported by some human rights advocates, sued Pfizer in the US and Nigerian courts. And after so many years of legal battles, Pfizer reached a settlement, agreeing to pay $75 million to the state of Kano and the affected families. However, to this day, many survivors and their relatives still claim they had gotten nothing. Namibia is one of the most peaceful countries in the world, known for its wide landscape, rich culture, and a small but strong population of just 2 million people. But behind all these beauties lies a really painful chapter in the country's health history. A chapter where women living with HIV were quietly stripped of their ability to have children and were never told why. Let's talk about this story. In the early 2000s, Namibia was battling this really bad crisis of HIV and AIDS. At its peak, nearly 20% of the adults were HIV positive. And among women of reproductive age, this number was higher. The government worked very hard to spread this disease. They tried various means, including public education, free treatment, and even new health guidelines. But all these strategies weren't really working as they should. And the numbers of HIV positive patients kept climbing. At this point, it was becoming very unbearable for the country. For the people in power and everyone who is involved. They were like, we need to do something about it. At this point, hospitals were overwhelmed, doctors and nurses were tired, and resources were stretched thin. So at some point, an idea became floating all around the Namibian society. And it is the thought that HIV positive women shouldn't really be having children because it will only make the situation worse. Initially, it was just random people talking about this, just the way people would say it's a beer parlor talk. But unbeknownst to most people, the government and some doctors were already carrying out this plot. In so many hospitals across the country, women living with HIV are already being told to sign a consent form to get sterilized after having a baby. And if these women refuse, the doctors will go ahead and do it anyway. Some women were sterilized just after giving birth. Some were even in pain or under anesthesia when they were told to sign these papers. And they probably couldn't even understand what the doctor was saying at that point in time. But their consents were considered valid. It was so bad that many women didn't even know this had happened to them. And it took years and years that they were trying to conceive till they actually realized this had happened at some point in their life. Sterilization is a medical procedure to permanently stop a woman from becoming pregnant. It can be life-saving when the woman chooses to do it, maybe because they've got some other health reasons or they just want to stop having babies. But when it is done without having full understanding and consent, it is a total violation of their human rights. What propagated this event in Namibia was strictly some health workers believing HIV women shouldn't have children, even though science had already proven this whole thing wrong. An HIV woman can have a child safely as long as they are under the right care. In 2008, 3 women took a stand and decided to sue the government. And with the help of their lawyers and some human rights group, they sued the government. In 2012, the Namibian High Court agreed with these women. The judge ruled that they had not actually really given any informed consent, and their right had obviously been violated. The government was ordered to pay compensation, because let's be honest, there's no real consent under such a brutal situation. Since then, more than 40 women have come forward. Until today, some are still fighting for justice.